I mean, I'm always up to do new stuff. What's next? So the loop-de-loop was just something that I brought up to Travis. He never gave me an answer about it. But I was like, I want to do the loop-de-loop. I know you guys got one. He never said anything, and I think it was just maybe a kind of surprise to me. And nobody looked at it. Nobody was like, "Oh, I'm going to do that." And in my eyes, I was like, "Well, you guys brought it here all the way from California. Like somebody's got to hit it." So I guess I'm up.
Hi and welcome back to the Riders Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Steve Summerfeld, and we've got one of the top 110 riders in the world with us right now. But don't go sticking him in that box. This dude is talented on anything with 2 or 4 wheels and it has an engine. Keeping it old school and preferring it to be a 2-stroke. From motocross to supercross, rally, side-by-sides, 110s, BMX, whatever he can get his hands on, Banks Hovey appears to be a part of this next generation of riders hell-bent on having fun above all else, and it shows in every video I've watched of him. I love watching his no stuffing around approach to rolling in and just hitting any jump put in front of him with whatever contraption he happens to be in at the time. If you haven't heard of him yet, well, you must not have been listening to this podcast for like the last 12 months. Because he's been cutting his teeth riding the 110s on the big stage at X Games, and he ended up with a silver medal at this year's event at Axell Hodges' house, and only beaten to the top spot by Axell himself. But very quickly, we've seen him riding some of the biggest events like Nitro Circus Tours, and watching him smash the Next Gen ramp and the Moon Buddha, ramps that are not to be sneezed at. And then you can get an impression of how fast he's coming along with his progress in FMX. But like I said, there's no box you can put Banks in. He's just taking on everything and having fun along the way. Very quickly though, before we get stuck into this, I want to give a huge shout out to the guys at Rothaus Brewery in Germany for their support of the podcast. And the best way to get these podcasts done is by having a beer on the side and keep these vocal cords lubricated, and especially when I'm commentating at live events as well. So make sure to grab yourself a box and just test out the Tannenzäpfler range of alcohol-free beers, and you won't look back. And just like Banks not wanting to look back as he smashes, well, let's say the loop-de-loop, let's just jump straight into this one with a new interview with one of the freshest faces on the scene, and someone I think we'll be seeing a lot more in the future, Banks Hovey. Yeah, man, you've got hardly any internet access, so why is that? Where are you?
Oh man, we live on a roughly 60-acre farm in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina, and I don't know. No internet means you're on your phone less and less every day, and that means you're always more productive, and no video games and all that. So that's always good.
Man, that actually sounds good. It sounds very productive for me, but I play way too many video games, so I probably should be going with no internet. So, but yeah, so 60-acre farm. What have you got on there?
A little bit of everything. I mean, right now we're doing corn, but with the drought, it's been pretty bad. But we'll do cotton or soybeans. It just varies to whatever our buyer wants.
All right. And who's your buyer then? Like, is it like one massive company that just takes whatever you give them, or how does that work?
It's just kind of like a request thing sometimes, but we lease most of our land out, but we're still pretty intertwined with them.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's interesting. I'm guessing then you've got a whole bunch of jumps on that land if you've got 60 acres, or have you been told, nah, this is all farmland?
No, majority of it is farmed, and I got probably 3 acres to mess around with, but I plowed everything into a big landing. So that way, I just got like a 40-foot wide landing. I got ramp going one way, ramp going the other way, instead of just that it's just stingy when you have to like jump and then you're all like putt around and then the ramp again.
Yeah, that it gets boring very quickly when it's like that.
I get boring riding solo all the time too. So
Yeah, well, I did that for many, many, many years. Riding at home, riding solo. I think it was like 5, 6 years, and then yeah, it was so much better riding with friends. Like, do you have anyone around you then, like in that area?
Not really. The closest person that I know that rides really freestyle is, I mean, everybody in Maryland, but buddy in South Carolina, but just mostly solo.
Oh man. So then, when do you kind of get a chance to head off and go riding with buddies? Like, is that once a month, once every week, or just when you see everyone on tour, or how does that work?
Uh, Tour is always where you really everybody collects and you ride, but everybody's just trying to get the shows and all that done. But mostly pit bikes. Pit bikes are just huge now. I mean, they were coming back from like the early like 2000s, like right as I was born. The 50 scene has now just became the 110 scene.
Yeah. Is it that big? Like, is it really that big now that, like, obviously, this is why we're having this chat, because I wanted to talk to you about X Games this year and last year as well, riding in the 110s. Um, but maybe I didn't appreciate how big the scene is.
I mean, Twitch and all those guys, like the whole DBK crew, and they made just hard parts and they were just selling them off immediately. And
Wow.
then I've heard other companies that started up as the pandemic started and all that, that they were just making pit bike parts. Like this kid makes foot pegs and he went and bought a house off of it.
No
Like he just
way.
makes foot peg mounts.
Oh, man. All right. All right. So everyone that was like all upset that 110s were even in X Games, they've completely missed the point then.
I mean, I've got a company in Australia called Matter Minis, and they started right as I believe they started right before the pandemic, or like right as it was coming around, because just that everybody just, I mean, everybody has a 110 now. Like it was hard to find them over here in the U.S. for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, like I remember probably the last time I rode one would have been, I don't know, 2010, maybe 2012 at actually, whenever Shuey ran over my wife's little TTR 50, it wasn't a 110, it was a 50. He drove over that with a bulldozer. Um, I think by accident. I don't know. I hope it was by accident. But yeah, like I remember he had, I mean, it was getting up to like 150s or 160s that he was riding at that point, and they were a fair bit of fun. But it was like just that in between a 110 and a real bike, and it was starting to kind of not be fun because it's like, oh, this is like so close to the real deal that I might as well just be riding a real bike, not the fun of the 110.
No, yeah, I mean, even with Travis, like I mean, Fox Sports has been buying uh, races. Like they say, all right, well, we need more videos. Like people love this.
Really?
I mean,
Man.
we just did one that aired on Fox Sports One and also is on YouTube. The last Pastrana Land pit bike race. I think it's
Yeah,
now
that's right.
handled.
And how does that go there? Like turning up to Travis's and riding those events like for a big deal. I mean, obviously X Games, that's ESPN, that's the biggest one, of course. But for Travis to be creating like a bit of an event out of it for Fox Sports, and they're asking for more, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fun. Every time I go over there, it's always a good time. But
Nice. Well, what I wanted to find out basically was how how did it feel getting over to um, X Games there at Sleigh Ground? I mean, you did this last year. The invite came through the day before, I think it was, maybe a couple of days before. Um, what's it like to ride X Games, and what's it like to be there?
I mean, it's definitely cool. You see some familiar faces as like this year, but the first year, I mean, it was just kind of grab everything and hustle to get out there. And threw my bike and duffel bags and gear bags and motor got held up in TSA or like customs, whatever you want to call it, and
Yeah.
they did not like that. But yeah, I mean, I've seen uh, like big race teams, like they'll put motors in coolers and ship them, but I guess one of the dogs or whatever, they smelled oil or gas because like the gas tank and the engine were in a box.
Okay.
yeah, drained it all out. And I was like, oh, it should be all right.
Did you get it back?
Yeah, yeah, no, I got the whole bike back. They
Okay.
didn't even put it on the plane.
Okay, that's a start. I know a lot of suspension from riders flying in to, or maybe even out of America, just gets pulled, and I guess there's a fair stack of suspension legs just floating around the back rooms of TSA in like LAX and in New York, where guys just never got them back. So that's good that you got it back. That's a start.
Yeah, I think Chicago is real bad for holding up stuff. Anywhere that like it's close to that, it might go out of the country. That's always where they're gonna hold it up. I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I had a list of airports that were kind of suspension friendly airports when I was booking guys to fly in and out of America, and it was just such a gamble. Even like, oh yeah, I think this one's fine and it was okay, but some, yeah, I think Joel Brown got caught up. Clinton Moore definitely got caught up. But yeah, a lot of the guys. I've heard a lot of stories. But anyway, so you got the invite last year to X Games. Very late notice, and kind of like you said, you hustled to get there. But we've just had X Games now, 2022, and man, second place, standing on the podium. How was that?
Funny enough, I never made the podium because it was supposed to be a
What?
gold medal event only, and
Ah,
I'd seen them like setting up, and I was like, oh, well, they might do it soon. And then the heli Jim, the guy that was flying the helicopter, he was like, hey, if you want to go up, like go up there. If you're not there, I'm gonna leave you. And so I just rode on up there, let him take the camera off. We rode around for probably like 20 minutes until we got a phone call. Hey, we're doing the awards. Like you got to come down. You're making too much noise.
oh, come on, no
It
way.
was I mean the helicopter ride was sick because he's a great pilot for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So it was a gold medal only event.
It was supposed to
That's
be,
supposed to be.
and
All
that's what
right.
everybody knew. And then I think even the athlete director was like, yeah, we didn't know either.
Okay. Well, that's good. At least then medals are there. So, yeah, I know like they had problems when they did that with best whip, where it's just gold. And okay, what about everybody else? That's cool, man. So second place at X Games. Did you have a bit of a plan coming in this year, like hoping everything was going to be relatively the same as last year, and you know the course and you got a good idea, or were you kind of winging it, like whatever comes, you're just going to take it on?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I kind of just wing it, but it's just always just for good fun. Once you take it and make it to something that it's supposed to be the fun event.
Exactly.
I still like go there and I'm like, huh, this is interesting. I'm riding X Games on a 110. Like, this is not what I ever thought would possibly happen, but I'm riding a kid's bike, I guess, on what some would say the premier stages, but I don't know. I like that X Games actually has a course that you have to be a little bit creative with and not just, an oval with two
Yeah.
jumps or three jumps. So, and it was interesting too because Axel was supposed to ride freestyle, but he didn't ride for some reason. But that would have been interesting to see with the wall rides and all the different selections he could have made.
Exactly. I was really looking forward to seeing Axel ride in freestyle, to be honest. Like, yeah, at the start when his name was first came out, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, this could actually be really cool. Like, I'd be stoked to see what he could do, um, and how creative you can get. But yeah, I guess all the creativity was left for you guys on the 110s, and I actually what I really liked just then was the fact that you just said this was the fun event, like this was the fun comp, and you kind of winged it. That actually makes me happy.
Oh, I mean, but then again, if I were to go for anything like next year, we're putting the sights out dry quarter pipe,
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, it's all for fun because that's where the kids or the older guys or whatever. Just everybody gets burnt out real quick, and you just got to
Yeah.
keep it fresh with whatever you're doing. Like we're gonna spread out, and we're gonna hopefully look into racing rally cars or whatever. So we're gonna start racing side by sides, and then hopefully go to Rally Ready, which is Black Rifle and Texas Dave's rally school. I know I'm getting way off topic, but
No, go for it,
well,
man. I'd love to hear it.
yeah, no, just I love just making things. So like I love building cars, and so I've been trying to get a hold of a Holden Ute, or whatever you guys call them over there.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
So what they're doing over here is they're taking Pontiac G8s, they're chopping them up, and they're importing the cars for parts because it's the same front end. It's just the back half is would be a pickup or whatever you all like to call it.
Yeah, we call it yep, that's the Ute. Yep. The good old trusty Holden Ute, man. And I love that you said Holden as well. Like that's our family's brand. We go with Holden. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm really stoked to hear that. So you're building cars.
Uh, I have a rotary RX-7 back there that we just beat on around here. We just threw a cage in it, cut it up, and made it like a little death cart. And then trying to build a full size uh, Silverado with a 6.6 Duramax motor in it with a T56. I'm just trying to build like the baddest drift truck. And
Right.
I'm working on it, but trying to do everything else. And I was on the skiddy this morning trying to build more pit bike jumps and fix my landing so I can start actually grinding on riding. Try and get some people out here.
Man, you are fully just going for it at the moment then.
Just like I said, it's all I'm just trying to have as much fun as I can. And I mean, like sometimes I dabble in doing like roll cages for a lot of like grassroots drift car guys and all that. But I don't know. I'm sitting around. I got four welders on each side of me. I'm in my shop, so.
So is that your job then? Like, is that your day job that you're a welder or just for fun?
Uh, I mean, I have a little company I started and just doing a lot of farm equipment and like trailers and stuff. Like just like quick, easy jobs. A lot of
Yeah.
these truck kids over here. Like we have like a lot of full size trucks. Like I'm trying to think because you guys like I've seen Tundras and stuff that have been imported over there, but you guys don't have big trucks.
Not that much. Not like you guys do. Nothing like America. No one has it like America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the kids over here, they all drive like the Silverados with the 5.3s and 6.0s and 4.8s,
Yeah.
but and they want to squat them. I don't care what you do to your truck as long as you put money in my pocket. So we'll do whatever. We'll cut the exhaust off. You want it to go through the roof inside the cab. We can do whatever you want.
Man, that's awesome. So what's your company called? What's your business called?
It's just core fabrication, but there's not really a real name. Just people are starting to like figure out me myself. I just had to put something there. So
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Well, then, if you're listening and you want to get something done, just just text Banks on Insta. I guess that's probably no. Actually, you said you don't use Instagram that much, do you? So
I try and stay off the internet as far hard as I can. I don't do Snapchat. I definitely don't do TikTok. People are pestering me to get on the TikTok and all that. And I have Facebook. Do that just for marketplace. But
yeah, fair call.
I
Man,
have
you'll
to.
be surprised though. Probably TikTok will be even better for the marketplace than Facebook. You never know, but it's a hell of a rabbit warren once you start looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great for me to, I guess, divulge into spreading wider and in my career, but then again, it's not. I don't want to go out and ride and like, oh, I got to get a video. Like I see these kids show up to tracks or whatever. Like I don't just ride freestyle. I'll go to the
Yeah,
local tracks and stuff. And there's kids out there. They'll be trying to hit the same turn 10 times to get the perfect video, and I'm just out there just
yeah.
having a good time. And somebody happens to grab a video. Okay, cool. Put it on the internet.
You just like bah, straight past. Like see you later. See you on the next lap. So you just said that. Then you don't just do freestyle, and that's why I wanted to find out a little bit more because you're not you're not just the 110s kid going to X Games. Like you're not just doing that. You're on the Nitro tour. You're riding at Travis's. You're driving cars and trucks and everything else like that. Where do you kind of see yourself? Like, are you mostly riding freestyle moto or 110s, or like just mixing it up every day of the week?
I claim myself as a professional fun haver, and you
Ah,
pretty
that's
much,
what we like to hear.
I mean, we'll. Yeah, I do ride the big bikes, but everybody kind of started to figure out about me. I swear, pit bikes is where it took me. That's crazy, but
Yeah.
the loop de loop was definitely something that threw everybody a curveball.
Right, I saw that. I saw that one.
I bet you didn't see the land because I've seen that crash every day since it happened.
I did actually. Maybe it was only on your account that I saw you actually rode away from it. But before that, it was like every Instagram account out there was just sharing that crash where you just face planted the ground. Um, Tell us about it.
Uh, that
What
was,
do you remember it? Like, did you get just absolutely knocked out, or did you get up from that one?
no, I got right on up. I just had a big lip. I looked like I was like Kardashian or something. I got a lip job right after, but I came home for 2 days just because I was like, oh, if I stay here, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So I had to drive 4 hours home and just hung out, and I drove back up there, and I stayed here for 2 days, and I, it was just it was very technical because you can't turn in it. It's like G'ing out, like I
Yeah,
guess you would say like in a fighter jet or something. Not to compare it to that, but you just lock into it, and you can't turn, you can't see. All you see is colors. You either see brown, which could be the skate light, or it's the dirt, and that's what I thought when I did the first time. I was like, oh, I should be all right. I don't see the sky, I don't see the water, and I don't see the bag, so I should be all right. Well, I saw the brown, and I saw black real quick, but
wow.
everybody's like, oh, look at the arrows. I'm like, oh, I wish I could see the arrows. It's just a blur. It was one of the hardest things I've done.
Oh man, how many attempts did you give that thing?
I did it, think 4 or 5 times without the bag, but we did it probably 10 total with the bag.
Did
But
ya?
it I just kept tired of going left and hitting the ground because even with the bag, it was still so hard. So I actually went out the top of it and flipped, like did an open loop flip and just landed in the bag. I was like, oh, well, let's just take half of it out and put it at a landing. Let's just do open loop.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There you go.
But now and then, I don't know. Maybe it was just luck. I don't think that there was too much skill. When I did it at the Pashana event, I went too fast
Yeah,
because I flipped out of the super kicker, which nobody saw. I set it at like I think I set it at like 50 foot. I don't didn't really measure it. We just kind of set it up the day before, and so it was like a full size flip into the bag, and I over rotated, and it was just overcorrection, too
yeah.
fast, a little bit of everything.
Oh man, and then you just go and just huck the not huck, but you just go and smash that loop de loop, and man, it's all on. But so with that loop de loop, like how fast are you going at that?
Not too fast. The slower you go, it seemed like it was easier because everything slows down. Just because you're already going so fast, because you're not really moving in any
You're
sense.
just
You're just
G'ing out.
spinning. You're spinning in a probably the 20-foot radius. That loop was way bigger than people think. Because I have pictures of people standing by it. That thing at least was 20 foot tall, or maybe
Really?
not 20, but maybe like 16. That thing was huge.
Huh. I wouldn't. I mean, in my memory, I'm not thinking it was that big.
No,
Maybe
it
it
was.
is. Like now that you say that, if I go back and look at the picture and the video, yeah, maybe I'd think it. But as I watched it, I was like, man, that was a. It looked like a tight curve. Like it all happened so fast.
Yeah, now I'm scrolling trying to find a pic. I mean, the first bit of the transition was 8 foot, and then at the top, if you look at the picture, you can see the pieces of plywood, and you can kind of gauge how tall it was by using that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But nah, that thing, I wouldn't do it again. But we will do some sort of something like that in a video we're gonna let out here soon. Nate
Oh,
Wessel's helping me out with some nitro physics on trying to get something like that done that I don't want to speak about yet.
oh, nice. Oh well, I'll keep my eyes peeled for that one. That sounds good. But yeah, man. So you're riding nitro tours as well. You're not just getting around on the 110s. You're not just riding motocross tracks, but you're also on nitro.
Yeah, I rode half the tour, and there was just some budget issues and whatnot that did that, and that's okay because I just have other projects I'd rather work on too, so it kind of all worked out.
Yeah.
But Nitro Tour is definitely fun. Got some old guys, and they're just, I guess they try to bring a new kid on just to brighten everybody's day and maybe give them some crap. But
Yeah. What's it like riding with the old guys then? Like, I'm guessing you're talking Adam Jones, Javier Villegas, and who else is on there?
uh,
Sheeny.
Sheeny's sometimes on. They brought Bink on, and it's just kind of like trying to give everybody a little bit of the taste of the nitro lifestyle.
Spread the love a little bit.
They brought Taka on, and I think Wanky and Twitch were supposed to do one, but I'm not sure what happened with that. Same thing with Axell, and then yeah, but no, we got Cassie Boone, and she's been killing it. I had heard her name like very vaguely prior to tour, but she's a ripper. She definitely holds her worth.
Oh, that's good to hear. I've been watching her for a couple of years now, and it's cool to see her just progressing. And then I saw her on the tour. I was like, oh, here we go. Like that's where it should be. So no, that's really cool. And on the tour, you are not just hitting a regular ramp there. There's the next gen ramp. There's the moon booter. What's that like to swap between those three jumps?
I mean, that kind of goes back to my background of where I've rode everything my whole life. I mean, to BMX to skateboarding when I was younger, but like I just kind of look at it as I don't think about it too much. How about that? I think that's the easiest way to put it. I'm just
Yeah.
doing it. It not to take away anything from it. The moon booters, that's something in its own category, and Levi's ramps literally next level. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Levi's ramp's real fun though, because you're up. I think we push it up 2 feet, maybe a foot and a half, and it's a foot and a half taller. But for flips and even upright tricks,
Really?
really fun. What are y'all still hitting it like regular 75, or y'all pushing it back further?
Wow. Okay, so you're just making it even bigger than what was generally planned.
Well, what does Levi usually set it at?
I think it's 75 and sitting there 75.
Yeah, no. We push it a foot and a half in from 75. We're
Oh,
splitting.
in from 75. Okay, yeah, sorry. So you're like 73ish.
Yeah, and I seen the Freestyle Kings tour. I don't know if they have a taller landing or if they're doing it the standard landing, but Bag Jump built a landing just for that tour that blows up in 3 stages. So it's got
Yeah.
3 different chambers, which I wish we could go back with Levi 2 feet from 75 just to have that extra time just to play with.
Yeah. So the
I,
73 is just not enough.
I mean, it's a lot, but it would be fun if it was back, definitely. I mean, I've hit 75-foot ramps at like 90 just to play with it.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I think like the let's say the American ramp or a 9 meter radius at 85, yeah, probably 90 foot. Like I love those little bit longer ramps and being a bit more on the gas. That was way more fun for me. Going slow is it's good. Like it's easier for tricks, but I did like kind of just off the
Yeah.
ramp. But I never got to jump the next gen ramp. I never jumped Levi's, so I don't know what that one feels like. Um, but what kind of tricks are you throwing off? Like basically exactly the same thing, but you're holding it longer, or do you have a few different ones that you mix up?
Yeah, no, just like you said, like you can hold them way longer, but combos. I'm going back to the upright. Trying to bring the upright
Oh,
scene back.
nice. So,
So
fuck, guys like Dane Kinnaird getting back on a bike now, like he was the combo king 20 years ago. Like that'd be just the ramp for him.
yeah, definitely. You have that extra time, but you don't have to push your distance, and you're traveling further up than you are out. So
Yeah.
you kind of lose the forward momentum a little bit, I guess, because you're
Yeah.
traveling higher up. Like your
Okay.
curve would be different than trying to combo 75 because you're traveling forward more
Yep.
than you're traveling up.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. That's cool. So, what are your favorite tricks on it then? Just if I can ask.
Uh, I I started doing knacks to like a whip switchblade. It was super weird and it doesn't work
Huh.
all the time. And if the stabilizer isn't clicked in, I can't bring it back. I've tried, but and then sidewinder to cliffhanger is hard. I've tried super.
Sidewinder to cliffhanger.
I've done
Nice.
that one. Um, I think I tried to do Shaolin to super seat, but the just I'm playing with a mid
What?
show too. It's hard.
Really?
He'll
Just going for it in the show.
Yeah, hill clicker to super seats pretty easy, but without flip levers, I can't get the Shaolin to pop back and then be able to push.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, I wouldn't
Which
even be bothering with Shaolins personally. Too damn hard for the old man. But yeah, I wish I was young. Actually, just quickly, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh man, yeah, you can bend and stretch and go in all different directions for a lot longer yet. In saying that, I mean Adam Jones is still the dead body backflip king, so I guess it's always going to be possible if you do it. Actually, what's it like riding with Adam?
Just I mean, I think he's definitely slowed down from his younger days, but I mean, just he's a great guy, and then within everybody in Nitro, I mean, Bilko slowed down too from the
Yeah.
what he used to be. But I don't know. I think that's what's nice bringing in me as a younger person, just to maybe bring back some of the, you know, happy-go-lucky days in them.
Oh man, no, that's cool. That's the best part about like shows like that. You can have the old guys, you can have the ones who are like on top of the world, you can have young guys like yourself ripping, and everyone just has a ball. And you can see that in a Nitro show as well. Like you can tell when everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, and speaking about like the older guys, the airbag, and I've spoke about this to a couple people, is the airbag's really going to stretch people's careers out, and I think definitely for us younger guys is going to take a lot of the risk out. I bet you've had the same conversation, but
Oh
if you go
yeah,
ride a dirt landing versus you ride an airbag, you're gonna feel good. You aren't gonna be hurting afterwards for sure.
that's it. Yeah, I was always against airbags for a very long time. Even after I crashed my brains out and had my last ever jump, I still like I still didn't like airbags. And it was probably like 2 years after I retired pretty much, and I was like, yeah, if that show was not a hunk of steel and timber that I landed on, and it was a flat landing too, I was like, if that was an airbag, I would have got up and I probably would have had to chuck the bent handlebars away and probably put on a new set. But I would have probably rode the next day, not be wiped out. Like, and I was thinking about that, like talking to guys. Like, there's a guy over here. I don't know if you know the name Massimo Bianconcini, in Italy, and I think he's something like 41, 43, something like that, and he's loving it. He's like, I can probably ride until I'm 55, and he probably will. Like the dude's actually still riding sick. Um, so yeah, I think you're right. Like it'll extend guys out longer, which is cool. But hopefully, guys like yourself, like if you're young and wanting to push it, you don't have to stress about breaking bones, like even just to train at home. Like even just to make training at home would be so much better, let alone going to an event. I don't know if you've got an airbag at home, but or if that's something in the future for you, but I'd be all about that.
Yeah, no, I got a buddy with one that he leaves over here all the time, but Bag Jump sending me a pit bike bag so that way we can try and maybe do some different stuff, maybe copy some tricks that have been done on a big bike, and
Nice.
um, I don't know. We got some video projects we're cooking up and trying not to give away too much.
Man, oh, it sounds like you guys are going to be just fucking having a ball of fun there. So you said you're doing you were skating before as well. Am I right? Did I see you even riding BMX or mountain bike at Nitro as well?
Yeah, yeah, no, I rode BMX for a while before I came back to riding moto. I guess the easiest way to explain it would go from the get go. I've been riding motorcycles since I was 2.5. I think I started riding at like 18 months old.
Damn.
Like four wheelers, and then I think my parents left me at home once, and I figured out how to take the pegs off the P Dub and all that. And
Awesome.
yeah, no, sorry, my mom came in here to see what I was doing.
Aha! G'day, mum.
Uh, no, but yeah, so took the training wheels off the PW and kind of figured out how to ride by myself. And then it was 50s. We didn't really know too much about the sport. Nobody in my family came from it. It was just kind of something we came across.
Yeah.
And then rode and raced and all that, blah blah blah. And fast forward a couple years, I was racing arena cross on 85s, and
Oh,
then
nice.
I met Alessi, Mike Alessi, and that whole family. Good, I mean, they were always good to me.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to race Supercross and all that, and so we did the training and all that, and it just wasn't for me. And
Yeah.
I stepped back, went and rode BMX, and got hooked up within Colt Crew, which is a big BMX company over here, and did that for a little bit. Rode a couple of Vans contests. I mean,
Oh,
um,
wow.
then we moved back out here to our farm, and we've been here for like 5 years now. So I've been riding again since pretty much then, and I think I've only been riding freestyle for like 4 years now.
Damn. Okay, there is a lot of history there then. Like just switching up whatever you're on,
Yeah.
anything that you're on.
I had a deal to race Supercross, and I would be racing Supercross now if it wasn't for me stepping away from it. I was pretty decently quick back then, but it wasn't where my heart is. For some reason,
Yeah.
I like going fast on pit bikes, I guess.
Yeah. I mean that yeah, and that's a whole different animal to be racing and going for Supercross like that is just full commitment, which I'm sure you'd be up for if you wanted to, but I'm guessing that'd just be such a different life to live.
Yeah, I think we're gonna race the amateur national next year on a vintage bike, like the Loretta
Oh,
Lynn.
nice.
Yeah, we're gonna try and
Cool.
race. We're looking at I think it's a '97 KX 250, or we're gonna race a KDX 200 if you've ever came across.
Oh, I wanted a KDX 200 when I was on our farm, like when I was about 15. I wanted to get either a DT 200 or a KDX 200, and my dad just wouldn't let me. So in the end, he got me a DT 175, and that is not the same. Like one's an ag bike, and one's like trying to be an enduro motocross bike, and yeah, I got the shit one. So yeah,
Uh,
so KDX 200, that'd be sweet.
yeah, that I got one for like I think I bought it for like $500 from some guy. Didn't know nothing about it. Didn't run. Just been sitting in their barn. Thing like it still looks pretty crisp for as old as it is. It's a '02. But I mean, I've jumped 75 on it too. I mean, I
Have
that is
ya?
my favorite bike.
No way. I have you got any pictures up of that or any videos?
There's a video of me
Yeah.
on it, but I don't think I have any pictures. I just
Oh man, I'd love to see that. Oh, the big old KDX 200 flying though. That's cool.
yeah, I like I said, I don't really try and get on my phone too much, so I really don't take too many pictures of too much unless it's really something to talk
Man,
about.
that's something for me. But no, I get it for sure.
I'll
Yeah,
get you one over though. It still looks really good. The frame's a little torn up from like where boots would scrub on it, but that's about it.
Man, put on frame guards if you have to. If you're worried about the looks, or I
Now
mean,
I wish it was a little bit more beat up.
yeah,
just I'd love to race
make
around
it look
that.
a bit more legit.
Yeah, not like it's been sitting, in a storage unit for who knows how long.
Yeah. Oh, sweet man. So wow, into motocross as well. Fuck, that'll be all right. So then next year, what's the plan? You said before you're thinking about quarter pipe.
Yeah, I'd love to do quarter pipe, and I've been trying to dabble into all that, but we're trying to figure out how to keep me on a two stroke. So I heard that there or Larry Linkogel did it on a CR 500, and that's how he had the torque to do it.
Oh wow.
Until I hit the quarter pipe, I won't know. I've hit him on pit bike, so X Games last year was the first time I'd even touched a quarter pipe.
Yeah.
But now this year, me and Axell, we were probably like, I don't know, 16, 17 feet out of it. We were definitely up there.
Man, that's nuts. That is so nuts. And like even like what did they get to this year? I can't remember. 49.
Yeah,
Like
50. 50,
yeah.
right there at 50.
Yeah, like fuck. And thinking about like the last couple of years where they were kind of 20s and 30s and whatever, that was big. And then this year it just looked huge. Um, Man, it'd be sick to see a two-stroke flying up there.
Yeah, I think it's very late to step in. But now watching Navas, that kid's a ripper, and he just a great guy. I spoke to him a good bit while we were there, and definitely made friends with him. But that kid rips, and he definitely made his point when he went there. I think he wished he would have done a little bit better, but I think it was definitely just good for him to get his foot in the door, and that'd just be the first step.
Absolutely. And especially like because he spent like what, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. I think 2 years since he built that ramp specifically for quarter pipe and just smashing it. And I think like to get your invite, you don't want to screw up. Like that's happened before and it doesn't end well and then everyone feels a bit salty about putting somebody's name forward. But he took that bull by the horns and he rode so good and just looked like he'd done it for years. Like that was just normal for him. So yeah, I mean but it's a new sport as well. Like it's only been around for a few years, so you're not that far behind.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. I do. The only reason I really like it is just it's like step up. There is no
Exactly.
saying, but now there's no bar to hit. So now we're just going off of lasers and all this. I mean, they have the video played over it where you can see, but there was no transponder in it this year. They were just shooting with laser
Oh,
and
was it only
picking.
laser? Okay.
But I did like that the prior years that they had transponders in them or whatever they were using because you could watch on the mega quarter behind it how high they actually went.
Ah, okay. That's cool. That is cool. Oh. Well, either way. Well, actually, you said just before about the two-stroke, like that you wanted to stay on that. What's the reasoning that you want to stick with the two-banger?
Oh, I love carburetors.
Ah,
I just love two strokes and definitely just trying to keep it old school. I
yeah,
mean, I've ridden 450s and I can ride them. I mean, but just the two strokes is just where my heart's at. I just love the smell of race fuel. How about that?
mate, I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. Um, Same. I love my two-stroke. Love my KTM. Um, I mean, yeah, yeah. I'll ride a 450. I did it, but yeah, I just love the two-banger. But I'm guessing then when you're talking about carburetors and race fuel, quick side question: what do you think about electric bikes then?
I mean, that's a conversation that could go on for a while. I mean, that's like electric cars. I think it's it's like having a gas or like a nitro RC car to a electric RC car.
Yeah,
The electric can deliver the power instantly, and
yeah,
you can make your torque curve whatever you want. It's a lot. I haven't really dabbled with tuning in motorcycles, but I've like dabbled in tuning in vehicles. And on those, it's harder to move the torque curve. But on an electric bike, you want all at once. Cool. If you want it all at the end, all right, there you go. It can be mellow as you want, but whenever it gets to that point where the RPM is where it wants, it'll just
Yeah.
give it. So
Hmm.
I think it's interesting. I definitely like wouldn't turn my nose again. I mean, I'm open to anything. I'm
Yeah.
never usually go against one or another. Like I guess you could use politics as a
Yeah.
reference. Like you do what you want. Cool, just
Yeah.
don't uh, interfere with what I've got going.
Yeah. Fair answer. No, I was just quite interested because yeah, it's cool to hear like a young dude who's still pumped on two bangers, and because like it's just I mean, I'm from a completely different generation now to you. Like I came from two strokes, and when four strokes first came out, and then like everyone was shitting on them, and then everybody got on them, and then nobody was left on two strokes, and it's just kind of cool to see there's still young guys that are into them.
Yeah, but I mean, like definitely, like the electric stuff could be cool. I've ridden two. I rode. I haven't ridden the Alta, but I've ridden. I think one of those Surons is what they're called and all that. But I did ride somebody who built an 85 with an electric motor in the actual crankcase. So he had still had a transmission and a clutch, but the response wasn't right in it.
Okay.
Anywho, but if you go look at the Nitro Rallycross, they just brought in the e cars, and those things are nuts. They're taking a step away from the gas, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't think I drive an electric car ever on the road.
Yeah, you're
How
not
about
gonna go. You're not gonna go taking your Tesla up to go buy your I don't know, your chai with I don't know, some sort of special milk. I don't even know where I was
that?
going.
No,
Yeah,
I know. I
you're
know.
not doing that fancy pants stuff.
I don't. I mean, I don't think you guys have it over there, but Starbucks over here is what I'd compare to what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, that I mean they're everywhere. But you said before as well, actually, about rally. Speaking of, so you're thinking of getting into rally as well?
Yeah, I have a sim rig, so I'm always on that thing. If I just get bored, like at 3 a.m. or whatever, I don't sleep very much. I sleep probably like 4 hours, 5 hours at
Yeah,
most times.
right.
So I'll just sit on there and grind, and I mean, I can, I just, it's a whole nother avenue of just fun in motorsports. So like, I love drifting. And then after the drift, I was like, okay, well, I seen like the rally stuff coming back up, and I was like, okay, well, the rally cross looks awesome. It looks like drifting and jumping, and it's everything. It's like a dirt bike with the jump.
Yeah,
You're in a drift car in the turns, but you're 4 wheel drive, which I haven't dabbled in 4 wheel drive other than video games, but I think it's definitely going to be interesting. Hopefully, I can get a Black Rifle stoked, and we can get into that.
so, what would you be thinking then, like to get the proper real deal car, or would you try and build your own?
So I'd probably just have somebody build it, just
Yeah,
to whatever specs it is, because I imagine there's just some already sent. That's the same thing. Like I wanted to race side by sides, and I was like, I could either could buy a side by side and spend a shitload more money to build it, or I could go get one that's already been made and raced and proven.
yeah, fair
But
call.
like come into like grassroots stuff, like I'll build my own stuff, but I'm definitely not at the stage of that those guys are in building cars. I'm
Yeah,
just there for fun, and
yeah.
if it breaks, but not when it comes to that.
Yeah, and it won't feel as fun when it breaks because of your welding or something. You're like, ah, fuck, I could have done good in this race or something, then it just broke. Um, yeah, right. So getting into rally, getting in the side by sides, that's an interesting one because that it doesn't seem overly huge around the world that I've seen, but it seems to be quite big over there in America. Like, are you in the middle of that kind of thing there? That scene?
No, not really. Like you said, it's just kind of all scattered around. There's a lot more of it over on the west coast of the United States, but I don't know. I think it just be the next thing. So you just get. If I do all these things all at once, I'm not going to get burnt out all at once because most of the people who rode freestyle or raced or skated or rode bicycles or whatever, if you drove RC cars every day or you
Yeah,
whatever, you're going to get burnt out of it.
absolutely,
So if you do all these things, it keeps it fresh and fun. That's all
mate.
trying to do, but I'm trying not to break the bank at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's the tough part. You're playing with big boys' toys, and they don't come cheaply. So yeah, and when you're delving into all of them, oh man, yeah, I wouldn't want to see the repair bills when you just sit there going, oh geez, I've got to rebuild the bike, got to go buy a whole bunch of pit bike parts, rally cars, bloody in the shop to get done. Yeah, that'd start to rack up a little bit.
Yeah, the only way I think I could ever get into rally is if I got somebody to back me. There's no way. I definitely don't have the pockets for that. I can
Yeah,
I can do a side by side, but definitely not a rally car that you're beating on every weekend.
fair enough. So, speaking of Travis before and him with Nitro Rally and all that sort of stuff, like, do you get a chance to go over there and do a bit of driving with him? Like, you kind of sound like you're saying all the same things as what Travis does. Like, Travis dips his toe in everything, and you're very much saying the same things.
I mean, no, I haven't got to drive with Travis yet. I haven't even gotten in the side by side with him. I don't know why I haven't yet, but for some reason I just never end up getting in it with him. But I've watched him and it looks so fun. And like I said, it's just something else that's new. Like I've done grassroots drift stuff. Like I put LS motors in like a 240 and drove it. And that was like kind of how I got into the whole thing. And then I was like, the video games. The only video games I play is if I sit in a simulator. But the thing
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's different than going playing like Grand Theft Auto or something that's just for fun. Like that stuff, it's I guess usable.
Yeah.
It'd be like going and working out. You're training your body and you're training your mental. Uh,
Kind of like your reflexes and everything.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, no. Oh no, definitely. I mean, I watched Travis my whole life, and that was great. The first time I ever got to go over there. You remember when Harry Bing was doing the bowl cut thing?
Yeah.
That's how
I
I
don't
got
think we could
Travis.
ever forget that.
So they had made like the Bowl Cut Academy, and it was just like a joke. And he invited, like, if you made a good video, you came over. And I don't think he thought anything of it because he always thought I got in through this pit bike race at Pleasure Valley that Jeff Cernick has at
Oh
his
yeah,
track.
yep.
So I don't think until like a year ago, he didn't like, it didn't click in his head. And he was like, so I always thought you got in through the pit bike race. I was like, no, I cut my hair and made a stupid video. And that's how I came about. And I'm really the only one that's stuck around after that.
That's cool. That's cool. And what's it like turning up there? Like, do you get to ride there much? Because you said you're only 4 hours away. Like, do you go there for training or riding of any description, or is it just kind of for those big events that he does?
Mostly the big events, but yeah, now I can go up there fairly often. Just everybody's on tour, and then when they're off tour, and Duff was hurt, or like Greg Duffy was hurt, so there wasn't really too much to ride around. And Travis is so busy, so he's not around. So I mean, all the locals are cool, but it just I want most of the time I can go up there and ride pit bikes, I guess. And it
Yeah.
seems like everybody rides pit bikes. It's hard to get anybody to touch a big bike most of the time.
Wow. I think I've completely underestimated the pit bike scene. I think I don't mind it. Um, I never really got into it, but I think I've underestimated how big it is.
So there was one thing I did like that X Games and Travis and all these other guys. I'll just use X Games for an example.
Yeah.
I go to I'll just say I guess Nitro shows. I go to Nitro shows and everybody's like, "Oh, I remember when I had me one of them XR 70s. I did one of them backflips, but I won't on purpose." I mean, but that's the thing. Everybody has like at least a mini bike or one of those little like you go get a Coleman, like a grill company makes like a little whatever they call them. What they're just like little scooters, but have like dirt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like it's very, I think it's accessible and it's a little bit more understanding for the general public. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, I wouldn't even jump this little bike. But when you have a big bike, they can't really compare it to anything, unless they've done it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So, as much as people talk crap about it, I think it could, maybe like, oh, a kid wants to go, oh, well, I can ride 110s and you maybe make something of it. I mean, but then again, it's all for fun. I know I say that a lot, but in my head, I do everything for fun. I mean, yes, money does become a part into it and your well being, but if it's not for fun, why did you even start riding? That's the question I ask everybody.
There you fucking go. Couldn't have said it better myself. Mate, that's exactly it. Why do you even start it if you're not having fun?
Yeah.
Well done, man. I'm impressed. I kind of feel like after watching X Games and I was a little bit dubious when I first saw it come in last year, and not that I was hating on it, but I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Actually, like, what are you gonna do in it? And I think in a way, like, I mean, this is a completely different conversation for a whole other day. That there's no crowd at Axell's house, but I kind of feel like if there was a little bit more atmosphere going into the 50s into the 110s, I don't know, like it kind of feels like you'd get a bit more of that fun vibe out of it. At the moment, you can see you guys riding around. You're like, yep, that was pretty cool. But then the camera pans off and it just goes straight on to the next guy to ride. And kind of the it's not showing the fun aspect as much as I kind of expected. That was kind of where I was getting at on that one. But
Well, that's
Travis's
all.
event. Travis's event looks fun. Like that, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I'm in. Like, where do I sign up?
I guess I mean that's also where it goes to the back in the day where they had like Camel Supercross. You had a cigarette company sponsoring the event. Now it's just energy drinks, which
Yeah.
I guess is all addictive in a sense.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's always a great atmosphere at Travis's, even when, you know, there's nobody there. I mean, you just walk in the shop. It's just history, I guess. And you can
Yeah.
walk back to the back and you just see, like, you can be like, oh, that happened there. All this happened there. I mean, it's definitely cool, but I wouldn't say it's hit me like it should have.
Yeah.
I mean, I went there and I really didn't say much to him. I was like, "Hey, thanks for inviting me." And I just treated it as it was the only time I was ever going to get to go. And I've seen a lot of people go in and out of there, and I shouldn't say a lot, but I've seen people go in there and like try and like maybe kiss his ass or sweet talk and whatever you want to say, but like trying to make their way in. I just went there as it was the only time I was ever going to get to go, and I was just grateful and just wanted to have a good time. I rode from sun up to sundown.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I would too. Just ride. Just yeah. Until you can't ride anymore. But all right. Thanks, man.
But yeah, and Travis's famous words, I've heard Dusty say it too. If you want to become a part of Nitro, you better be willing to give it your all. And I've learned that the hard and the good way.
So what's the hardest way? Would it be that loop de loop, or is there a harder way?
I mean, I'm always up to do new stuff. What's next? So the loop de loop was just something that I brought up to Travis. He never gave me an answer about it. But I was like, I want to do the loop de loop. I know you guys got one. He never said anything, and I think it was just maybe a kind of surprise to me because he'd heard I'd said it, and nobody looked at it. Nobody was like, "Oh, I'm going to do that." So, in my eyes, I was like, "Well, you guys brought it here all the way from California. Like somebody's got to hit it." So, I guess I'm up.
Oh, so at that point, nobody had hit it while it was sitting there at Travis.
Nobody touched it.
Huh. Okay.
I
That's
mean, that
cool.
that was the world's first loop de loop on a motorcycle, dirt bike, whatever. And I've been thinking about doing it on a full size bike because it made a little bit more sense to me. But it was presented to me right there, and I just kind of was like, "Oh, I said I wanted to do it, so it's time to do it." That's the thing. Do not say something at Travis's house if you're not gonna back it, because
Oh,
it's gonna
yeah.
you're gonna do it, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I think I'd actually get a little bit nervous, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really want to say what I'm gonna do until I've done it, but I'd really try and keep my mouth shut if I was there. I really wouldn't want to get roped into doing something I'm like 50-50 on, and like, oh crap, I'm going for this now.
Like I was riding in a skate park on my pit bike, and I was like, "Oh, I want to jump the Mega on it." And I'd seen Dusty try it like years ago when they first built it, and like overshot it, landed flat, somehow bounced up on his feet. I don't know. That guy's a so that's like a superhuman or something. Maybe I don't know. But
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, yeah.
and so no, you're good.
No, go for it. Sorry, go for it.
No, I was just sitting there, and Hubert was like, "Did you just hit that?" And I was like, "Yeah." He says, "Well, did you flip it?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Why don't you?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a good point. Why not?" And so I just went over there and flipped it. And that thing's probably like 60 foot. Your
That's
third gear tapped.
fucking hell. It looks big.
I mean, I've jumped 75 on a stock pit bike with like a quarter-mile run up. I had to give it was everything it had.
Oh wow, man,
Yeah.
that's impressive. Hey, actually, did you ever see the video of Kane Saul trying to flip 75 in Shuey's foam pit? It's like 20-year-old video, and he came up 10 feet short, landed at the front of the foam pit. I don't know. Did you ever see that one?
No, no, I'm not.
Oh, that was a long, 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 long time ago. That poor little pitty just did not have the steam to get over it, and he just smashed the rail at the front of the foam pit. How he survived, I do not know. But yeah, so you've hit 75 on a stocker? Is that what you just said?
It was bones. It had handlebars on it. I didn't have foot pegs. I didn't have
Far out.
suspension on it. I mean, I got all that stuff now. Luckily, I mean, Faster Minis hooked me up, and so did Kinetic and Matter Minis out of Australia. Those guys are awesome. They offered me to drive a Ute when I go over there, so I think I got to make a trip to Australia now. I have to.
Definitely. Hell yeah. Well, you're going to have to buy one and put it in a shipping container and send it back.
Yeah, I've done a lot of research on that, and it's stupid expensive,
Is
even
it?
for parts one. I mean, that's what everybody's trying to do with the GTRs. They can't get like they're getting them over here, but it's stupid expensive.
Yeah. Nah, that doesn't surprise me at the moment. Man, so if anybody's trying to get into pit bikes, because now you're making me really excited, and I'm not just speaking shit here now, like I'm actually a little bit pumped on it. Where do I start now? Like, what's kind of the setup for you guys? Because before, like I said, my wife, we bought her a TTR 50, and it was just fully worked with everything from I can't remember, what is it, Yamaha's uh yeah,
GYTR.
GYTR, yeah, exactly. So it was all pimped out, and it was looking good until it was crushed by a bulldozer. But what's the setup these days?
I mean, you can do it on a stock pit bike. I've ridden like bone stock ones with stock handlebars, and that's the thing. I'll hop on anything. I mean, not to get off topic. Like, I rode the big hill jam. I was supposed to ride two stroke. I ended up riding seven bikes, and I only hit the ramp like maybe 20 times, and that was for a whip contest. And I ended up on Stank Dog's 450. I'm like, I've ridden the 450 and who knows how long, and ended up doing on that. But that's the thing. That's why I always go. It always goes back to having fun.
Yeah.
I don't care what I'm riding as long as it moves. But you don't need much to do it. I mean, you could go build like a ramp out of just scrap. I mean, I built ones out of pallets, out of like just goofing around. I mean, go look at Cole Denny. I mean, his setup.
Oh,
I don't even think he has a real ramp at his place. He has a 75 he built out of just 2x6s and just lumber he had laying around.
I
And that
thought he.
guy's dedicated. But you
I
can do
th-
it at anything.
Man, I thought he just jumped onto roofs and jumped off of houses.
No, no. Cole Denning's a great guy, but that's I guess that's a great guy to base it off of. He builds ramps out of anything. I mean, you can go get your cooler from that's your mom's and go put a 2x4 on it and you could jump.
Go and huck you. What was it? Yeah, they put a cooler under it and then they hucked a Harley or something. Like,
Yeah, I know.
fucking hell. Like that, it's just so fun to see that. So funny to see it. And that's what it's all about. Like, that's just what it's all about. So, man, I'm going to have to get rocking and rolling. It was only a short one today, unfortunately, but I'm so stoked we finally got to catch up after. I mean, we've been talking for over a year now, and 2X Games later, we've finally got you on for an interview.
Yep, just trying. It's crazy. I mean, I'm known for pit bikes. And that's definitely something I didn't see coming.
Yeah. After what you've told me, I'm very surprised. Like, you just the jack of all trades, and that sounds awesome, man. I love to hear that you're just having fun. You're only 20 years old, having fun and trying everything. Keep it up. Do not stop, because when you're old, and I'm only 38 this year, like, I'm not that old, but it does
It's a big,
come fast. So keep at it.
yeah, it's a big social media world. If I were to put more up, people would know more about my life. But I mean, there it goes to prove that my reasoning proves itself.
Exactly. And that, yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. Before we wrap this up, yeah, I was very much, and I hate social media. I do it because I feel like I have to for the job that I do, but I hate it. Like, and I
You have to
kind
do
of,
it to be relevant.
yeah, exactly. But in one way, there's one thing I really do like with social media, and that is, let's say on Facebook in particular, like, it'll show 10 years ago some photos, and you're like, fuck, that's right. I didn't even think I was in that town, or I forgot I was even riding there, and then I see this photo, I'm like, oh, that's sweet. But actually, more that you get some photos and get some videos, and then something to look back on later. Like, at the time, I don't care. Like, I'm riding, and if somebody had a photo, sweet, but I wasn't bringing a photographer with me. I did actually, I asked my wife if she could learn how to do some video editing, because we were doing a lot of traveling, and we're like, it would have been cool to get some video of where we were, but we were both not into it. Like, I hate video editing. I hate photo editing. I just hate it. So I never did it. And it sounds like you're just taking the right way. In a sense, you're just riding and having fun.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
I've seen kids sit on their phones all like they'll get off their bike and then they'll go to the truck and take their helmet off. They'll pick their phone up first thing. Like, there's nothing on that. I mean, unless somebody's calling for like some like urgent reason, that there's no point to pick that phone up. You're talking to how many people on the internet all at once, and you gotta keep your Snapchat score streak thing up or whatever.
that's it.
It's not me. But when I do go on the internet, I post something. I want to put something up that's maybe gonna stoke somebody out to go ride or do whatever. If you want to, whatever, as long as it like stokes somebody out, that's what's up.
That's
That's all it's
sweet.
about.
That's all. That exactly. Funnily enough, I was just talking to, I think it was like one of my dad's best friends back home in Australia. So like I said, I'm over here in Germany, and I rang him today, and he's 70 years old, and I rang him on Facebook Messenger, and he's like, "Gee, bloody hell! How did you call me on this?" I'm like, "You just press that phone button. It's just the same as like making a phone call." "Well, I'll be buggered. Gee, who would have bloody thought you'd be able to call on this Facebook thing? Ah, gee." And I just laughed. I'm like, "Man, you've got the life." Like, I wish I could go back to that. So,
I mean, I've heard people like go ask for somebody's phone number, and they're like, "Oh no, do you mean my Snapchat?" I'm like,
what?
"No, I mean your phone number. That way I can, I
That's
don't
so
know."
funny. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for jumping on. Thanks for your time. I really hope everybody who does listen to this, well, you probably listen to it on your phone. So put your phone down, go outside and go ride something by the sounds of it, because you've got me pumped. I'm about to go buy a new e-bicycle on doctor's orders, of course, because the poor old hip can't do too much without it. But I started riding one and I'm getting pumped. I'm like, oh, I've got to go buy myself like just an old kind of cruiser. I want to get one of them over here and do that up. Talking to you now, I'm like, I'm going to have to get a pity. I'm just going to have to do it. So thank you so much. You're getting me excited again. And I hope that's the same for everybody else listening.
Well, I hope whoever's listening to this on their telephone is going to ride somewhere or do something and not just sitting on their phone.
Bloody legend. Awesome, man. We'll catch up again, I'm sure, very, very soon.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Man, I don't know about you guys, but I loved hearing the positivity in this guy. I think we'll be hearing this name for a long time to come. If you want to hit up Banks, like he said, he's not on social much, but I'm sure you can catch him on Instagram occasionally, and I'll put a link in the show notes of how to find him. If you've got any questions about the podcast, or if you want to know any more on your favorite riders, hit me up wherever you are. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. And you can basically find Riders Lounge Podcast on all of those platforms and more. And who else do you want to hear from next? Let me know. You can also check out ridersloungepodcast.com for the new ramp plans, which have been supplied by some of the best in the business who design them, like the double flip ramp, the standard 8 meter or 9 meter radius ramps, the next gen by Levi Sherwood, or even quarter pipes and those rocker systems for the old cheap front flips, or maybe you want to go for that front flare on the rocker system as well on the quarter pipe. If the ramps you're specifically looking for aren't there yet, they will be very, very soon. So keep your eyes out. I've got a whole bunch of plans and I'm continually uploading them. All right, thanks very much to everybody who's listening. And also, if you share it with your friends who love moto, that will be a huge help for the podcast and spread the word of FMX, because really that's the only reason I'm here. Love the sport. And I'm guessing that's a pretty good reason why you're listening as well. Thanks again to Rodhouse as well for keeping me going, as I barely come up for breath on this one, but enough to refresh myself with a good Tannenzapfler alcohol-free beer from the German brewing powerhouse. See you later.